Good morning. Oh, it's been a morning. This has been the hardest morning of this journey for so many reasons. I am 2.5 miles into today's hike because it has taken me that long to get warm. Temperature wise, last night was supposedly the same as it was the night before, but it felt infinitely colder. I actually slept well, slept very well, actually got comfortable, got warm and cozy, and slept through the night. Got up a little earlier than normal because I have a long day today and wanted to say goodbye to the girls, which was rough. But it was so cold. It was so bitter cold this morning. I was shivering the whole time. It was so cold I didn't even make coffee. That's how cold it was. I didn't want to sit there and squeeze the cold water out of my Ceanoc and wait for it to heat up, and I just wanted to get packed and get going so that I could get warm, and it has taken me 2.5 miles to actually get warm. I was so cold when I started that I couldn't feel my fingers, I couldn't feel my legs or my toes. Like, I didn't know if I was even like stepping on anything. I couldn't feel it underneath me. And then that horrible feeling of when the numbness starts going away and the blood starts flowing through there again, and it hurts. It hurts so bad. It brought tears to my eyes, but I didn't want to cry because I didn't want my tears to freeze. And I've been going up and mostly into the wind all morning as well. So finally I'm on a down and out of the wind. Actually got a little bit warm on this last up. But I'm gonna stop and have some breakfast because I didn't eat anything, and I can tell I need some energy. But yeah, it's been a rough morning. This is the very first day, literally, of this adventure that I'm completely alone. I don't even have Zobi. I miss him, and I miss my girls. They were so cold, and I don't blame them. They didn't come out of their tents to say goodbye. They just said, we'll see you down the trail. So, it's hard. I feel alone. I miss my dog. I miss my friends. It's bitter cold, and I'm freezing. But I'm doing it. One foot in front of the other. Talking to God. Praying to get warm, praying to make new friends, praying to get through the Smokies to get back to Zobi and still enjoy it, because look, it may be cold, but it's clear and there's still views. Oh, my hair's everywhere. So today I will be going over Clingmans Dome and Newfound Gap, and it's nice and clear, so should have views. But I gotta go 13 miles today, and I haven't gone that far with my full pack. So, and my shoulder is bothering me today, of course. So, I need to get some energy in me and keep this day moving. Alone. Clingmans Dome. It's only 7.4 miles. And then I have to go to Newfound Gap. Beyond that. And the shelter. Beyond that. Still got about 11 miles to go today, I think. I don't know. I can't even look. No. Less than that. 10.5. I don't know. I'm too cold. Again, stopping made me cold. Too cold to look. Here's the trail. No Zobi in front of me. Just my feet. Boring. Sorry. They'll be back. Pretty views. I'm 4 miles in, had to take a potty break, and I've eaten, I've drank water with electrolytes. I'm going to take some, there's something behind me, I'm going to take some Cliff Energy blocks, because I am just struggling today. I have no energy. Thought it was because I didn't eat breakfast, but I've eaten now. Oh no, maybe, I don't know. I'll get into it, I hope. I got 9 miles to go. Having a little moment here. So last night I was going to mark on far out where mile 194.3 is, because the length of the AT as of this year is 2,100 194.3 miles. So as of mile 194.3, I have less than 2,000 miles to go. So I was walking and I just pulled out my phone and looked when I stopped for restroom 0.3 miles ago. But I was like, pull out my phone. I hear this little urging. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna look. I don't know why. Maybe there's a steep incline or something I need to be aware of. And as I was pulling out, all of a sudden I was like, I bet I'm at 194.3. Sure enough, exactly on the nose. I'm standing at mile 194.3. 2,000 to go in that direction behind me. That away. 2,000 miles to go. But I can now say, oh, less than 2,000. Funny little moment. But thank you, God, for remembering our silly little moments that we need to have to give us a little bit of energy and a smile on our face so I could celebrate this small accomplishment today. Less than 2,000 miles to go. Not to be intimidating or anything, there's a nice clearing right here to show you exactly where you're going. It's Clingmans Dome over there. Oh boy, lots of climbing. Let's do it. You're looking down at the trail and then all of a sudden you look up and that's what you're looking at. Oh, it is beautiful, isn't it? Alright. Does the trail go down right here? Did I lose the trail? Where's the trail go? Hold on a second. That's the trail. Does it go down over these rocks? I think it does. So that view I just showed is not on the actual Appalachian Trail. There's a little spur trail that looks like it's the AT. There's a teeny little intersection that if you blink you miss it. Keep going straight, you'll go right into that view I just showed you. So I got a little turnaround, got tangled up in the bushes. I'm gonna have to take my pack off and see. I think I might have ripped it actually, or maybe ripped my umbrella. Sounded like something tore. I got tangled up. That was fun. Little detour, but hey, at least I had a view out of that detour. I believe I'm back on the right trail now. Nothing out here is marked. I swear to God. People with the Smokies need to get out here and mark the freaking trail. Unbelievable. Okay, I am on a rock cliff. So I'm gonna come over here. Do this. All right. Anyway, that was fun. So, I'm 6 miles into today's hike, and Clingmans Dome is 10.2 or 10.4 or something like that into today's hike. So I still got a little over 4 miles to Clingmans, and then it's not far from there to Newfound Gap, and then a little past that to tonight's shelter. So almost halfway into today's hike, and definitely feeling way better than I did this morning. I just stopped at a shelter and ditched a layer of clothing and a layer of gloves. So definitely warming up, but it is still cold. It is definitely still cold. So I've been walking on this very windy ridge for a little over a half mile. Still have about 3.5 miles to Clingmans Dome. And I'm happy again. There's just something about the Smokies. I feel as I'm walking with every step, I just feel like I'm coming home. There's something about this area. Always has been. When I worked here and got to come up here 4 times a year, when I had vacation up here with friends, when I was married and we'd come up here, there's something about this area that just says home to me. And with every step I'm taking, familiar steps. I've done this part of the AT before, especially here around Clingmans Dome and Newfound Gap. I've done them several times. Charlie's Bunion and out to Mount Cameroon, which is my favorite. That'll be the last day through the Smokies, but I don't know. This is where I learned to hike. This is where I fell in love with hiking. This is where I took my first steps hiking, was in Cades Cove, Abrams Falls. It's where I first Saw elk, bear. I don't know, there's just something about this area that feels like home. And I'm smiling as I walk through and see the familiar vistas and ridge lines. Even smells like home. Especially when we're a little warmer. Right now, with the wind out of the way and in the sun, it actually is kind of warm. So, alright, Clingmans Dome coming up. Ooh, I'm eating my hair. Passed through a couple of sections like this. I'm gonna stop to record it now. It just feels like this mossy, enchanted forest. And it's so quiet and still, you feel like you're trespassing. You almost have to hold your breath as you're hiking. And I keep thinking that any minute some fairies or nymphs or elves are gonna come popping out of all the mossy undergrowth and carry me off to their leader. It's really beautiful though. Getting close, and the views are already spectacular. This is my second pull out. I didn't stop at the first one, but I had to at this one. Getting close. Almost there. 0.3. This is part of one of the trails that I did before, the Forney Ridge Trail, to come up here to Clingmans Dome before. We are going that away. And then Mount Collins Shelter, 4.3 more miles after that. Let's go. By the way, I'll have my camera out. I've been passing snow for a little while now. Yep. Sweating from the climb and walking on snow. I'm in tears. I'm in tears. I've been here so many times. I don't think it's ever been as hard to get here as it was today. I feel like I'm coming home. And you know what the best part about this moment right now is? Not even the views I'm gonna see in a second. This view right here. 200 miles. I've walked 200 miles. Thank you, Smokies, for this moment. Unbelievable. I'm sweating and cold at the same time. 200 miles. Did it. I stripped down, but now I'm cold because my sweat is drying on me. But I'm going up Clingmans Dome right now. Can't even honestly tell you how many times I've done this over the years. First time I came up here was 2003. Over the years, I've brought back family, friends from Atlanta, friends from Florida. Most of the time we drove up here, but I've hiked various trails, merging with the AT to get here. So, it really does, I'm like all emotional today. It really does feel like I'm home right now. It's beautiful and I love it. The views are gonna start here, just around this bend, so I'm going to flip the camera around. Woo. And the wind is starting just around this bend as well. Brr. I did bring my coat. Here we go. Good views today. service up here too for the first time in 4 days. Getting text messages coming in left and right now as I take this video. Look at this. So beautiful. All the way around. If you've never been here, this is one of those places sure you can take in your life. You don't get views like this anywhere else. Look at this. That's where I was just sitting. That's where the 200-mile mark is. Oh, it is cold up here today though. Well, just to show you, this is what we've already climbed up. Shuck Stack as the tower, Gregory Bald, that was yesterday with Rocky Top, Cades Cove, the camp we were at, the trail would have gone back to that. Now we keep going forward. That's what we've already done. That line of mountains back in there. And Pigeon Forge off in the distance. It's down over there. Oh my gosh, it's cold up here. I'll start shivering getting in now. So this is my fruit and water bearing friend, trail angel, Donkey Kong, who I am in love with at the moment because I was out of water and look what he has in his hand. Oh, I was being a royal pain to myself and I didn't want to stop and get water at the shelters as I was passing because I'm cold every time I stop and I didn't want to deal with cold water.
It's frozen now.
Yeah, it is. So Donkey Kong here just filled me up. I now have a completely full thing of water. Yay! I'm gonna put some Propel in it. And I got a banana. Wherever my banana went is over there, sitting on the edge. There it is. And I'm good to go. Yay! He's gonna get me to the shelter in peace. One piece, I mean, and in peace. Thank you. Did you thru-hike yourself?
I did not.
You just come out here and do trail magic?
Yep. Well, I just learned about trail magic, so I had an idea.
I love it.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Thank you so much.
No problem.
So yes, what you are looking at is a trail of ice. I've already been dodging it quite a bit and come around the bend and the entire trail is pure ice. This is going to be fun. My goodness, look at this. It just keeps going on. The whole trail's just ice. The whole thing. Oh, I hope there's enough areas to the side that I can keep stepping. Well, I just realized that I'm not going over Newfound Gap today. That's tomorrow. There was a road intersection that had a parking symbol that I just assumed was Newfound Gap because when you drive on Highway 441, Clingmans Dome and Newfound Gap are like right next to each other. So I thought they were on the AT too, but they're not. So that'll be tomorrow. I am going to climb up Mount Collins next. I'm still coming down from Clingman's right now. And go to the Mount Collins shelter. Hold on, big step. And I was confused because the signs at Clingman's Dome kept saying that the Mount Collins shelter was like 4 miles away yet. But according to, I could have sworn there was someone coming up behind me. But according to Far Out, I was only 3 miles from the shelter at Clingman's. So I just pulled up in Far Out again, and I'm a mile past Clingman's now, and it's still saying that I am 2 miles from the shelter. So the signs at Clingman's are wrong, and they need to be fixed, and here's more ice. Hold on a second. I just figured out the discrepancy in distance. It's a whole half mile down this blue blaze. Clingman's Dome was 3.4 back there. You add that 0.5. There you got 3.9, which is what the sign said. However, according to Far Out, I'm at the shelter. I'll walk another half mile, seriously. And of course, this blue blaze is in the middle of the low-down Enchanted Forest all around me. So there's probably nowhere to camp anywhere along this blue blaze until I get to the shelter. So yeah, it is going to be a 13.5-mile day. This is a first. I have not seen an empty shelter on the trail. I know a few other people said they were aiming to come here tonight, but nobody's here yet. Somebody left some stuff apparently. And this shelter, look, actually has a privy, which I just used. Well, there's hardly anywhere to camp around here, but there was a nice flat area right at the turnoff to the shelter at the end of this trail. That's the spot I'm claiming. I promise to show the good, the bad, and the ugly on this. Today has kind of been all of that. I've had moments of beauty and peace. I've also been really lonely, wondering what the heck I'm doing out here. Right now, I'm sitting in my tent alone, missing my dog, missing my friends, shivering, aching, and wondering what the hell I'm doing out here. I'd give anything for my RV right now. And my dog. Or I guess maybe my girlfriend's camping next to me to tell me it's gonna be okay. That'll be alright. I just gotta get warm, get some food in me, take some Advil, start all over again tomorrow. Alright, it's 8:45, so definitely a little later than I wanted to be getting on the road today, or the trail today, but I'm going to be passing Newfound Gap where I can get rid of my trash. So I decided to be a good girl, go through all of my pockets and bags and everything, find all of my trash, my hot hands and all that jazz. I've kind of just been throwing here and there at night when I open the packages, or in the morning when I'm changing and tossing the packets into bags and pockets. So went through all my pockets, my fleece, or rather my puffy, and have all my trash gathered. So that took a few minutes extra that I don't normally do. And now I'm walking in the wrong direction because I realized I have less than half a liter of water now. So I'm heading down here to the water source to get started because the next water source isn't for a hot minute. So hopefully I will actually be on the trail around 9, which was the latest I wanted to get on the trail today. So I got 16 miles to go, and I'm adding 0.2 more by going down to this flipping water source, which I should have done last night, but I had a headache. I was mopey. I'm feeling better today, and so I'm doing it this morning. Okay, this is farther than 0.1. Stupid signs lie. Alright, bye-bye. 9:04. I'm finally taking my first steps actually on the AT today. Super annoyed right now, again, with the way the Smokies are managed. I fully understand why all thru-hikers have said the Smokies are such a challenge. It's not just the terrain, it's not just the weather, it's the way things are set up. You can only sleep at the shelters, you can only camp at the shelters. There's no freaking camp areas set up anywhere else. And then you get to the shelters and they aren't actual campsites. Hardly anything is flat. I'm annoyed that that shelter in particular, and I think that a couple of the others, I don't know what that glare is on my screen, probably from my broken screen where it's trying to, sorry. But like, okay, so that shelter is a half mile off of the AT. Plus the water source says it's 0.1 from the shelter. It's 0.2. So I went 0.4 miles round trip to get water this morning, plus another half mile just to get back to the AT. So I've basically already gone a mile before I even set foot on the AT today. Then, because of the way these flipping shelters are spaced out, my choice today is either 8.3 miles to the next shelter or 16 miles to the shelter after that, with no option in between. And like yesterday, my choice was 7 miles to the last shelter before Clingmans Dome, or 13.5 miles to the shelter I went to. No option in between. They need to come out here and create some more backcountry campsites actually off of the AT. All of the backcountry campsites in Great Smoky Mountain National Park are on the other trails that intersect with the AT, except for that very first one that we camped at the very first night. From there, it's shelter to shelter, which are not spaced evenly at all. So you have no option but to do a short day or a long day. And then like today, I'm already doing 16 miles, but because of the way the shelter is placed and the way the water is placed, I'm actually gonna be doing 17 miles. Just super annoyed. Gotta come out here and fix this problem, because it's no wonder people get injured in the Smokies trying to push their bodies to do more, because the other thing is you have to buy a permit, and your thru-hiker permit gives you 8 days to get through the Smokies. Well, if you can't get through the Smokies in 8 days, then you're gonna have to get off probably at Newfound Gap, which for most people is about 4 or 5 days in. Go into Gatlinburg or Cherokee, buy a new permit, print it out, have another 8 days, which it's not going to take you 8 more days to get through the rest of the Smokies. I mean, some people, yeah, it may take them 2 weeks to get through the Smokies, but you know, you're given a time limit to get through it, and then you have to force your body to do more miles than you've been doing up to this point to get from shelter to shelter. Then you're cramming all these people into a tiny space. Either you have to sleep in the shelter itself or camp around the shelter where there's hardly any space. Our tents are still literally side by side, and everyone's getting sick. You got norovirus, your typical flu and cold. Now there's COVID. It's like, do something about this. Create some more campsites. I mean, even if it's only clearing out a little bit of space for like 4 or 5 tents between some of these gaps, longer gaps in the shelters, gives people an option for their mileage, as well as, you know, at least a few less people crammed in around the shelters during thru-hiker season. Anyway, all right, I'm done complaining. Back to happy, smiley Tonya and enjoying the Smokies. And 17 miles today now. Well, it is definitely warmer today. Still dodging ice, and I just about wiped out right around there on that patch of ice. Thankfully didn't. I think that might be the last of it. I was dodging it for a little while. Hopefully there's not much more. Nope, I see more ahead of me. Yeehaw. Fun stuff. Love dodging ice. 2.1 miles into today's journey, and it's been all through the Enchanted Forest so far. 3.1 if you include my bonus miles this morning. So I got 3 miles to Newfound Gap, and I had promised myself, I keep passing these, that's scary. This is a uprooted tree, blow down. These are all over in here. And think about that thing falling. All of these logs, all of these blowdowns, they're everywhere in this section. Anyway, promised myself that with a 16-mile day, I was going to stop every 4 miles. Take my pack off my shoulders, just because I have herniated discs and my left shoulder always hurts anyway, no matter what. Even when I'm not hiking, just sitting around. And yesterday it was really barking at me. I can feel it already this morning. Not as bad as it was by the end of the day yesterday, but I can feel it. I think, keep looking at the screen, I think that my broken screen is creating this weird halo effect that's going on now. Sorry about that when I flip it around into selfie mode. Anyway, so 13 and a half miles yesterday, and I feel good other than my shoulder and that headache I had last night. It's good because, of course, I'm gonna start talking while I'm on and up. My feet feel good, knees, everything else feels good. Stupid halo thing. Another problem I'm having though is all these nights in a row of sleeping on my blow-up mat, my hips hurt. And that sucks. No way I can get around that. So I tried sleeping on my back a little bit more last night and not on my hips. I snore when I'm on my back. But I did it anyway, so that's just something I'm gonna have to deal with. All right, I'm up now, so I'm gonna go. I just realized where this parking area is that's marked on the map here on 441. It's Indian Gap Road. Here behind me is a sign because I've stopped on my drives through the area on this bend on 441 because across the street here, it's kind of treed in, I'm not gonna get anything, but across the street there's been some beautiful sunrises as I've been driving on this road in the past. I've stopped and parked right here to go get that picture. But the AT just does this little loop. Behind me is where I came out. You can't see the white blaze behind me, but there's a white blaze behind me. And now, just do this little loop in the parking lot. There's the white blaze on that stick there behind me to go back on the trail. And Newfound Gap, here I come. As flipping freezing as I was all day yesterday, it's hard to believe that 3.5 miles into today, I am hot enough to be down to my merino wool base layer for the first time since entering the Smokies and pulling my hair up. I was actually gonna put my hat on, but I don't feel like digging around for it. All right, getting back on the trail. About 1.5 miles, a little over that to Newfound Gap. Here we are, Newfound Gap. Cannot even tell you how many times, hundreds, I've been here. Had lunch on that wall. The AT starts over there. Again, taking my picture by this sign. There's a great view over there. I figure out why it's so freaking packed on a Tuesday, and then I remembered it's spring break. People are here on spring break. But I'm gonna walk over here to the view. Ta-da! Excuse me, don't mind my huge pack. I'm just walking to Maine. This guy over there with the back door open is giving out soda and bananas, which I hate soda, but I did take a banana. And I threw away my trash. And now I'm gonna go sit on this rock wall for a moment and have a snack. Bonus miles. Going up these steps. Not going all the way up. I'm just gonna come up to this platform. Let's get a view on the other side. So I've seen it before, but gotta document it on the thru-hike. Love this view. No matter how many times I've driven through Newfound Gap, I'm always tempted to stop, and a lot of times I do, to get pictures of the sunrise and the sunset over these mountains. This is so freaking pretty. Clingmans Dome is right over there. Just around that bend, you turn off to drive up the mountain to Clingmans Dome, and then it's a 1/2 mile, very steep paved walk up to the dome I was at yesterday off of the AT. All right, I'm gonna have a quick snack. I'm not gonna climb up those rocks. I got enough climbing ahead of me. Got a very steep climb out of Newfound Gap. I'm gonna take a breather. All right, had to get my picture by the Appalachian Trail sign. And I don't think that number is accurate anymore, but that's how far I have to go to Maine. Not far at all. Well, back on the trail, climbing out a newfound gap. Stairs, 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 and more stairs. Around the hordes of spring breakers with their 2-year-olds who want to take a few steps onto the Appalachian Trail to say they've done it. I'm not rolling my eyes. I'm not rolling my eyes. They all want to stop. Hello.
You're almost there.
Oh yeah, only 1,900 miles to go. They all want to stop and say things like that. Hi.
I don't want to interrupt your pace.
Oh, thank you. It's okay. I've only got about 5 more months of this. But just had some guy insistent on stopping me, even though I kept talking, on talking to me about like how he's completely convinced some Unabomber lives on the Appalachian Trail and I need to be careful. I'm like, I think it's you, dude. Leave me alone. Anyway. All right. Talk to you later. Thing is, I've hiked this particular portion of the AT probably like 3-4 times to Charlie's Bunion and back. With first time by myself, next couple times with friends. And I've never seen this many people on the trail. Like, must be the height of spring break this week. Oh, go away, people. And just when you thought you were out of the ice and snow, welcome back to it. Here we go. More ice and snow. It is melting though. And it's supposed to rain tonight, tomorrow. Yeah, you get to hike in rain, but that's okay. I'd rather hike in rain than not be able to get warm like the last couple of days. More up here. Okay, we'll watch where I'm going. And this is what is marked as my next water source, where I was gonna get water. So, I will be getting water at the next shelter instead. Lovely. Alright, so I just consulted Far Out, and I am 7.4 miles into today's 16-mile hike. Almost halfway. 8.4 miles if you include my round trip water and shelter mileage from this morning. And it's 12:15, which means I've been on the trail for about 3 hours. So 7.4 miles in 3 hours. Hello. Hello. Better rate. Hi. Still lots of day hikers in this stretch going out to Charlie's Bunion. Anyway, better hourly rate than I was giving myself credit to be able to do today so far. Hopefully we keep that up. The Boulevard Trail in Mount LeConte. Well, obviously I'm going this way to Charlie's Bunion on the Appalachian Trail. But hold on a second, I'm gonna wait for these girls to pass. With a couple of ladies, but what I wanted to say was about the Boulevard Trail right there in Mount LeConte. That's one of my favorite trails now in the Smokies. When I lived here in 2013 and 2014, it was just a trail, one of the ways that you could get to Mount LeConte. Then after I moved away, right after I moved actually in 2016, there was a fire through the area. Unfortunately, it was a terrible wildfire. It took out a lot of cabins and businesses and people's homes and stuff. But one thing it did was, for some trails, such as the Boulevard Trail, it cleared out the trees, and now you have amazing views all along the Boulevard Trail. So I hiked it, I think in 2018 when I came up here for a long weekend. I went not from the AT, this end of it, but where it ends over by Rainbow Falls in that parking lot, which is off of Cherry Orchard Road in Gatlinburg. Go up the Boulevard Trail and have beautiful views the whole way now to Mount LeConte, which is the highest peak in the Smokies, third highest peak east of the Mississippi, and then come down the Rainbow Falls Trail, and you get to see both views and a beautiful waterfall all in one hike, which isn't very common in the Smokies. So anyway, I just saw that sign for the Boulevard Trail in Mount LeConte and thought of that and wanted to share it with you. And as I was just telling the lovely ladies that I was just chatting with who are here on spring break, they're teachers from Michigan. My other favorite hike is not actually off of the AT, but it's Ramsey Cascades in the Greenbrier area in East Gatlinburg off of 321. Turn into the Greenbrier area of the national park, drive about 5 miles on dirt forest roads to the Ramsey Cascades parking lot, and it's about 9 miles round trip to what I think is the most beautiful waterfall in the Smokies. So there's your Smokies hiking tour tips from Tonya. There's been ice this whole section of the trail again, coming down from the shelter where I finally found where the water source was, and now I'm not even sure where to step, probably over there, because this is all just ice again. Take the Spur trail to Charlie's Bunion because look how pretty this is. Just the little Spur trail. It's been, I was just saying, it's been since 2018 was the last time I did this hike. I've done it 4 times, but I haven't been here in 4 years. And it is beautiful. Hi! Wow, there's a lot of people out here today. There we go. I'll climb up those rocks in a minute. I really want to go up there. I did that once and about died. I came around the corner a little bit to get some of the better view. I have an amazing picture, I'll have to see if I can dig it up, of this in the fall. It was the first time I hiked it, and I fell in love with it here. And I always had to bring whoever be willing to hike this with me back, whatever season it was again. I don't know how well you can see behind me right now, but the views off this ridgeline walk are just breathtaking. I keep stopping and taking pictures. So gorgeous. I just stopped in that little spot right there, and the sun came out for like a minute and shone right on me down into that valley, and just felt like it was God speaking to me, just like blessing this journey. So beautiful. I keep looking over my shoulder at the view, sorry. Need to look at the trail. See, I'm not even recording myself now. So I've been having this internal debate for the last couple miles. I'm about 13.7 miles into today's 16-mile journey. And actually, I feel great. Nothing on me hurts. Not at all like yesterday. Not my pack, not my feet, my knees, like nothing hurts. So I've been strongly considering pushing on to the next shelter, which is 5.2 more miles beyond the one I was planning to go to tonight. That would make for a 21.2 mile day, plus my bonus mile from this morning, a 22 mile day. Honestly, could I do it? Probably. Should I do it? Probably not. If I did that, I could feasibly be out of the Smokies tomorrow. It would be a 15 point something or other mile day tomorrow to be picked up at Davenport Gap. Be finishing 2 days earlier than planned. That is very appealing to me right now because it is supposed to rain tomorrow. It's supposed to be warm rain, but it is supposed to rain tomorrow. But 5 more miles today and then 15 miles tomorrow may just be a little too much on my body at this point in the game. Even with taking a 0 at the end of the Smokies, I don't want to hurt myself. Even though I feel good right now. I really do. Like, I don't even feel like I've gone 13.7 miles today, where yesterday at the end of the 13 miles I felt like I was going to die. Now, granted, yesterday I had Clingmans Dome in my hike, and that was fun. Actually, it was fun, but it was very steep. Thing is, that extra 5 miles, there are a couple of pretty steep ups in it. So that's where I'm like, I don't know. Plus, I would probably be getting into the shelter, but like dusk, like probably 7-ish and it's totally dark right now, about 7:45, which is enough time to set up camp. But the question is, will there be space for me to set up camp with the way the shelters are filling up with everyone right now? So probably gonna play it safe, stop at this shelter I was planning on, take 2 more days to get out of the Smokies, but it is appealing to me to think about going 5 more miles tonight and getting out of the Smokies tomorrow. Seeing my baby boy tomorrow night instead of the night after tomorrow night. But I don't know. I guess decision time is in a couple of miles when I get to that shelter. And the shelter I'm going to tonight is another one of these lovely ones that's a half mile off the trail. On a spot far out has marked as a view, and yep, it is. Same view I keep stopping to gaze at, but no trees in the way. Come on, son. There we go. Yes. Look at those hills. All the way out there. Here we are. Decision time. That's where I was planning to go. Notice I just said was planning. Doing it. Gonna give myself a 20-mile day. I should, if I can continue, if I can continue at this pace, I should be there around 7, which will give me just enough time to get camp set up and start making dinner before dark. And if I have to do it at dark and I'm limping in, what I keep telling myself is, I said I was at 15.8 miles for today according to Far Out with 0.4 to go. So it's definitely going to be over a 16-mile day, especially with extra miles from this morning. I'll have about 15 and a half. I'll have to look at Far Out exactly to Davenport Gap tomorrow. And I'll be done with the Smokies. After what I've hiked today at this time tomorrow for the same distance, I'll be done. Versus if I stop there, I could either try to push out a 21-mile day tomorrow to finish the Smokies, or I would be setting up camp at this time tomorrow night for another night in the Smokies and another short day of hiking to Davenport Gap. And I feel good. I honestly feel totally fine. My shoulders don't hurt. My legs, my knees, my feet, nothing's hurting right now. Now ask me that again in another 5 miles. Because that's what I'm doing to myself. But it was 4:20. Shouldn't take me more than 2.5 hours, especially at the pace I've been going today. Might even only take me 2 hours to get there. So we're doing it. Pushing out a 20-mile day, 20 plus mile day. I'll put it in Far Out to see exactly what the miles were later. All right, bye-bye. How much do I love this thru-hiker community? So I was just pulling out my phone to see if there was another water source in these 5 miles, because the one that was marked was dry, as in dry. And I was like, oh my God, I should have gone down the trail to the shelter to get water before doing these extra 5 miles then, because I was almost out of water and there wasn't another water source marked on Far Out, and I didn't realize that. So I was about ready to freaking cry, and this thru-hiker I've been leapfrogging past me, he had just come from the shelter to camel up for the 5 miles, and he gave me like 3/4 of a liter, which will definitely get me there. So I'm like so blessed, so thankful. This community is amazing, and the trail does provide. The Lord does provide. Just when I was about ready to say I shouldn't have done this and turn around to go back to that other shelter, I got the water I needed. Let's press on. Here we go. I am so beyond thankful for that water, because I just went up and I needed it. I have 2.6 miles to go to the shelter, with one more up and then a down to the shelter. I can do it. And just in case you're wondering what I've been hiking through for the last 5 miles, it's basically been this. More of the Enchanted Forest with a view here or there, and the views that have been the best I have definitely shown you today. So, not missing anything trail-wise, trust me. Just more Enchanted Forest. Still pretty, and a few views popping out here and there along the way. I did it. I did it. I did it. Oh, I did it. I did it. And the shelter is completely full. And this guy who just walked by me said that up here by this hitching rack, it's flatter and grassy. Might be able to snag a spot because there's already people up here. He did not come all this way to not have a place to camp. Of course this last 500 feet is up. Up, up, up. Oh yeah, look at that down there. Tents on top of tents. I don't know if you can see them through the trees. The tents are literally right next to each other down there. And he said most of them are on a slope. Right here I am. Hey, you found a flattish spot. Actually, that looks like a really nice flat spot where the horses go.
I mean, I did find horse poop like right outside the door, and I did not look to see if there's any here, so we'll figure that out in the morning.
Hey, you're sleeping on horse poop tonight. It's all good. Look at the sunset we're getting through the trees. It's pretty. Deeper into the forest, a bit more sheltered from the wind, and today's 15.5 miles is going to be I guess as easy as 15.5 miles can be. It's basically all down. Got a couple small ups, just finished one of them, and then pretty much down all the way into Davenport Gap. So I have an estimated time of arrival to meet my kennel lady and pick up Zobi. But for now, I'm walking through the Enchanted Forest again. Probably one last time. I don't know how much of this type of scenery continues really beyond the Smokies. I know there's some here and there that I've seen in my day hikes beyond this, but I just love the moss and the green of the Smokies. Same view, but a little bit farther up on the ridgeline. You can see that smoky haze that we've somehow managed to avoid in the last 5 days is starting to roll in. It's been bitter cold, brutally cold, but it's been clear. And I've had views, so I'm not gonna complain. And as myself and some other folks were saying around camp last night, you can survive the cold. Man, it's windy today. You can survive the cold, then you can. Oh. I say this as the wind takes my breath away. You can survive the cold and you can survive anything. And I'd rather deal with the cold than with bugs, which I know are still going to come. Inevitable. But hopefully I can try to get as far north. Hope you can hear me over this wind. Try to get as far north as possible. Woo! Kicking up through here before the bugs come. Alright, I'm going to hike. Blowing me away. Listen to that. on the trail. Keep tripping on my trekking poles. Oh, there's a little break in it maybe. I keep tripping on my trekking poles, trying to use them in each hand because the wind pushes them in front of me instead of where I'm putting them. This is nuts! Finally in a little patch here that's somewhat secluded from the wind. This has been crazy. I am 6.7 miles into today's hike, and there's a shelter a mile ahead that I am going to stop at and have a nice long lunch because I've been going, and I just did the math and realized that if I keep up at the pace that I'm going to be arriving at Davenport Gap about an hour and a half to 2 hours early for when she's going to drop off Zoe. Darn thing on my screen. So I've only stopped once for potty break and a quick snack. I've been fighting the wind every step of the way this morning. I'm gonna round the bend into it again up here, and I'm just gonna take a nice long lunch and slow my roll a bit on the second half, and hopefully not have to wait too long to see my baby boy. So it's going very, very well today. Like I said, it's a pretty easy hike. Just finished what I think is only like my last, maybe my second up of the day, which wasn't too bad. Oh, here I just said that, and I'm around the bend and start going up again. But yeah, it's been an easy hike today. Right, here we are, Cosby Knob Shelter, because we are in the Cosby area of Tennessee, and low gap, getting really close to the trail that intersects with the AT that I've taken a half dozen times to go up to Mount Camerer, which I lied earlier when I said I don't have another up. Totally forgot until I just looked at far out. Duh. The section of the AT that I'm used to doing, going up to Mount Camerer, is coming up. And yeah, it's an up. Not compared to some of the ups that we've done already in the Smokies, but yeah, it's coming. But I am going to stop at this shelter for a little while. I just saw my friends turning into it before me. This little Asian couple whose names I forget, I need to ask them. They're super sweet. Been leapfrogging all day and slept tent to tent together last night. There they are, ahead of me. Yay. Oh, and it's out of the wind. Hallelujah. Yay. Hey, we made it. Lunchtime. Here we are, the Mount Camerer intersection. I can't even tell you how many times I have stood at this intersection when I've been up here with a group of people. Taking a friend up to Mount Camerer, and this lovely gentleman behind me just came from Camerer and said it actually wasn't too windy. Not too bad. I should have taken my lunch at Camerer today. I thought about it and I figured it was going to be like gale force winds out there pushing me off of the cliff. Oh well, I'm gonna pass it today, but I'm thankful I've been there in the past. Have a good one. And here I go. It's a surreal moment passing, especially that intersection, because I've done this section of the AT like a half dozen times now up to Mount Camerer. So surreal that I'm now doing this as a thru hike. Let it be noted that I am now, for the first time since entering the Smokies, for the first time in 6 days, I am legitimately hot. Holy cow. I don't know what happened to the wind this morning. I don't know what happened to the brutal cold of the last 5.5 days, but the sun came out and I feel it for the first time in 6 days. And I'm going up Camerer. Whew, I am sweating. But you know what? I am not complaining. It's the other side of the Smokies. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. Did it. I don't think I'm quite to the road though, so I need to keep going because my little man is going to be at the road. But wow, coming around that bend and seeing the other side of the Smokies officially ending with that hiker box. Oh, and there's the road right around that bend. Wow, that was That was a moment. I can't believe I just pushed through 13.5 mile day, 21.5 mile day, and a 15.5 mile day to finish out the Smokies. Done. 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 And done. Wow. So happy to have my little man back. I'm so happy. He's been giving me kisses, right? Yeah, well, of course now he's not going to. He was right before I turned this on, of course. Jericho was super sweet, said he was a good boy, a staff favorite, and everyone's sad he's gone. He wasn't really interested in the other dogs. All he wanted was the people and to be loved on. And she's like, we're going to miss him. Thank you, Jericho, and the staff at Loving Care. If you are through hiking and you have a dog, Loving Care Kennels, Jericho is amazing. Right, Dobie? Yes. Yes. Are you ready to go? I love you too. Are you ready to go hike again with Mommy? Yeah? His tail's wagging, see? Ready to go hike again with Mommy? Yeah? When we get a day off, you get another day off. And then we're going to go hike together again. All the way to Maine. Mwah.